You're listening to the Ugly Truth Podcast with George and Christina Markoski, your weekly injection of science, insights, and myth-busting. For awesome info and trending content, go to theuglytruth.blog.
Hey guys, welcome back to The Ugly Truth. I've got Peter Salerno here with me.
Yep.
And Peter wrote a book called Laugh With Me.
That's right.
And you're into laughter therapy.
Yes, I'm the founding president of the Australasian Laughter Clubs, and we set up the clubs 20 odd years ago. I'd been working as a clown with Patch Adams and that sort of thing, and I was the original clown doctor in Adelaide long before clown doctors were thought of in Australia, because I copied what other people were doing, and I thought, wow, if it works there, let's do it here.
Where'd you get the idea from?
Well, basically, like I said, I just copy. I hear about something and I thought, wow, if that works there, it should work here. You know, it's like with your business, you know, if it works here, it should work there. You know, so what I did was I thought, let's have a look how we can introduce clowning and clown doctoring into Australia. So I got in touch with Patch Adams and his organisation. And
there was a movie about Patch Adams, wasn't it?
Yes.
Robin Williams did that, didn't he?
That's right, yeah. Excellent movie. But Hunter Patch Adams has been to Australia quite a few times. And I met him here in Adelaide quite a few times.
Oh, cool.
So he comes to Australia, and then other friends of mine told me about this doctor in India that was doing what he called then laughter yoga. And I thought, okay, so what's that all about? Because when you work with people with, like I do, with a lot of different anxieties, different depressions and stuff like that, some of them you can snap them out of it very quickly just by saying, let's have a, here, put a funny hat on, do this and that. They start acting a different character. And when they're acting a different character, they totally forget who they are.
They forget to be depressed.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'll be quite controversial. I don't believe that people are depressed. I think people do depression.
Yes, I totally agree.
I'm sorry, but
emotions aren't consistent. They're always changing. You can't hold on to emotion that long.
I think people have to do depression. They say, I am depressed, therefore they become depressed.
Yes.
But, we all have depression. We all go up and down and mood swings, mood changes. So what I say to people is like, you've got to look at where you are and what do you want to be and how happy do you want to be, But then I wrote this book, which is Laugh With Me. And the main reason why I wrote it was because a lot of people said to me, have you got some notes? And I never used to hand out notes. I believe still that if you want to come to my conference, seminar, or whatever, you take notes. Because everybody takes notes differently. Everybody takes in information differently. So you take it the way you take it in, and you write what you want to write. You understand what you want to understand. And at different levels, you pick up different things. Like I've read a book and then I read it again and I thought, gee, who reprinted this book? That wasn't in the book when I read it the first time. But this book here it says, like, do you find yourself getting stressed out during the day? Do you find it hard to unwind? Do you go to bed and toss and turn? Do you wake up in the morning just as tired as you were the night before? Then this book is for you. Laugh With Me. Do you know somebody that gets stressed easily? Do you work with stressful job or, in a stressful workplace? And do you wonder what to do about stress, and stress kills. It's as simple as that. Stress kills.
No.
And so,
but sometimes I guess it's not easy for people to laugh.
No, it's not. It's not about, George. It's not about laughing. See, some people who are really depressed and really down and have had a lot of things happen to them, and some of them are mental illness, but some of it is medically depressed, right? And some of it's physically depressed. So there are different levels of depression and different things. So there are different ways of treating them. It's not like a blanket where you can cover everybody. So that's what I try and do. So that's why I learn different ways of treating different people or different ways of treating the same people.
When did you bring your laughter therapy to Australia?
Oh, look.
You're the first person that brought it to Australia.
Yeah, I brought, with Albert Ben Simons, the jeweller here, we brought Dr. Kataria out from India. And we brought him out here to show us what to do here, right? So, although I had seen it on films and, some news articles and I researched what he was doing. And I had been doing theatre sports, drama, all those sort of things, and clowning and clown doctoring. So I used all those mediums to do what I was doing with people. But I found that with some people that didn't work as well. You see, so then by doing laughter and laughter yoga, that helped a lot more people in a wider range. So I use, say, more of that than this.
Yep, because the movement's important.
Yeah.
I guess Christina and I did a bit of laughter yoga at one stage because I YouTubed it.
Oh, yes.
And in the mornings, what I do is press the YouTube and try to copy the movements. And just thinking back about it, it makes me smile.
Look,
it's like
it's very, very simple when you think of it this way. In our head, just up here, like there's a little sac, and there's adrenaline, right? There's endorphins, there's serotonins, there's dopamine, and when those 4 drugs mix, right, that is like the best cocktail you'll ever have. You know, so when you laugh, a little smile sends a message up to your brain sac, and there's a little sac there that goes ding, ding, ding. This is the simplest explanation.
Oh, really?
That I have
so when you smile,
so every time you smile, right, even if it's a forced smile, but the message goes up to this little brain cell, and it opens up that sac, releases that what it contains, and then closes again. So if it's a dopamine sac, it opens up the dopamine sac. It's a serotonin sac, it opens up the serotonin. If it's an adrenaline rush, it
so then you've got those chemicals.
When these chemicals mix together, and you know, you go, whoa, it kind of lifts you. And you know, when you smile, people say, oh, stop smiling, it hurts my face. I'm thinking, my God, you frown, you use 11 times more muscles to frown than what you do to smile. So why don't you just smile more often? It's a lot easier.
It's a lot easier. You save yourself time.
It removes all the wrinkles. I mean, there's several exercises which are really incredible. I say to all the ladies, if you want to look younger, right, you have to do this lion thing where you, from the thyroid gland, you stick your tongue out as far as you can, like the New Zealanders do, you know, and people that when you play with a child, you go, like that. So when you do that, the further your tongue comes out, it actually massages your thyroid gland. And as far as I know, I've never heard of anything else to massage your thyroid gland.
Well, that's amazing.
So that's just one thing. Then what happens is when you, all your face muscles are exercised, your head muscles in here. So you relieve all the tension around your eyes, right? And then when you go like that and you're playing with somebody, like as if you're playing with a child, and you go, they laugh, you laugh, and it's a rolling laugh.
It's true, exactly.
And it becomes very contagious. When we look at it, as a child, you laugh like 300 odd times a day, right? And as an adult, it's like less than 12.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
the statistics show that.
Well, I must say, I realised when I was younger, I laughed a lot more. For some reason. But anything made me laugh when I was younger. Now,
that's right. Yeah, but
now it's not as easy. I don't know.
I talk to a lot of corporate people because this is my job. But I talk to people from all walks of life, and I get groups which are depressed, like street kids and stuff like that. And I go into town and I go to a couple of those different groups, and I've done workshops with them, and they have said to me, "Wow, you know," and their supervisors or their other people tell me, "This person didn't need their drugs for 3 days."
Wow.
Afterwards, you know, for 3 days afterwards, they were still on a high. So we felt we didn't need to give them as much drugs. You know, and I can guarantee that people who are on depressants, antidepressants, and all these anti-anxiety medication, and doctors unfortunately load them up with this stuff, right? They can actually save themselves a lot of money.
So
and there's some very simple exercises.
Can you rekindle the laughter of childhood back in adulthood?
Yes.
That's what I was curious. Because I must say, when I was younger, I found it a lot easier to laugh. Like I'd watch a comedy, I'd laugh my ass off. Now I don't laugh as much externally, maybe internally. Why is that? What happens? Why do people do that?
Look, this is not just to sell my book. No. Which you shouldn't have one. Anyway, get hold of George.
Where can we get a copy of this book? Do you have an online place?
It is online on my website, but I'll sell it through you. And
no, you don't have to sell it for me. That's fine.
Benefit.
I just want to help out. What I'll do is I'll put a link to your website.
And they can go
on
to
the podcast. And if you want a copy of the book, just go to the link.
Is
that worldwide?
Yes. Worldwide.
Excellent. So for our worldwide audience,
I send it to them at, like I've had people all over the world buy this book. Where I've travelled in Asia and all this, people buy it all the time, and they buy it for Christmas presents. They buy it for presents for other people.
It looks like a great present.
This is it is. Look, the point is, most people will buy a $30, $40 bottle of wine, and you drink it and it's gone. Right. But what happens is, if you buy this book, which is Laugh With Me, just a very thin little book, it can stay on the coffee table for months and months and months. And other people read it.
And it's the gift that keeps giving.
Exactly.
Because you keep laughing.
And the thing is, with this, the chapters are so short. Let me tell you the example. It says, laugh with me, you will laugh too. Now, what that means is that, like, if your team is winning, right, then your team is winning, you're going to be really happy.
Yes.
Right? As soon as your team loses, at the end of the day, by 1 point, you're going to be miserable to the next of the week.
Which is crazy.
1 point, you're going to be miserable to the end of the week until they win again.
Yep.
You see? But the other thing is, lighten up. It's just a little chapter, but let your feelings show. Right? Let your feelings show. This is very important. It's very, very short. It's just a couple of pages. But what it does is, if you're angry, how quick do people jump to anger? Bang! Get off the road. What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. But if you're happy, why don't you let your feelings show as well?
Yeah.
Why don't you let people say, hi, how you going? Great, terrific, thank you. Oh, that's okay. You hop in front of me. At the supermarket, I sometimes do it on purpose. I let people in front of me and they go, oh, really? Are you sure? I say, yeah, you look like you're in a hurry. Oh, no, I'm not in a hurry. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
But they are smiling.
Yes, of course.
I go up to people, and not that I can't find things in the supermarket, but I'm looking for something, and I say, excuse me, do you know where this stuff is? And they go, oh, yeah. Or, no, I really don't, I'm sorry. I said, that's okay, no problems, thank you. And they feel great. I feel good that people can help me to show me, so I don't have to look around like an idiot. But let your feelings show, let your good feelings show as well as your bad feelings. That's what I'm all about.
Is there a certain posture, right, that makes you laugh?
Well,
because obviously
physiology is very important.
That's what I thought.
That's why I'm coming back to.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm going ahead.
No. Yep. Look, you can never be too happy, right?
Yes.
But this is the biggest problem that people say. What are you so happy about? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Is it a crime to be happy?
Being happy is good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Most people, you see an angry person, you're going to shy away from them. Yep. You see an angry person, you'll sort of shy away from them. But you see a happy person, you sort of feel comfortable to get in their presence.
Totally.
You see? But what is really interesting here, it says, let your feelings show. So if you're happy, why not start a happy-demic? See, that's that chapter there. Yes. A happy-demic.
Yes.
Right?
Excellent.
Not an epidemic, but a happy-demic.
Yep.
Let people around you start to get happier. Show them that it's possible to be happy, and let more and more people be happy.
Look, I'm happy to talk about happiness. It's great.
Share the happiness. That's good. So what has to happen for you to be happy? This is a really good question. When you ask somebody, like you said, you sit down, you watch a movie, and you used to laugh a lot, now you don't.
Yes.
And then you think, okay, well, what has to happen for me to be happy? And then ask the question, what has to happen for me to be happier? And what has to happen for me to be even happier?
Yep.
All of a sudden, you will start to laugh at the movie. You will start, and once you start to laugh a little bit, then the next bit, and the next bit, you crack up by the end of it. And you think, yeah, that was a funny movie. Yep. And if you're watching a movie with somebody else, it's always really interesting because you ask them, how funny do you think that was? And they say, oh, that part was really great. And you think, really? Oh, wow. What have I got? I've got hardening of the arteries, like to say, you got to watch your laughter therapy gauge, where's the gauge at? So start a happy-demic. And what has to happen for you to be happy? How to have a good day every day. You look at ways of making things better and better every day. Yep. Right, and there's a graft in here and all the rest of it. It's quite good, But this is good. It's good to forget. People say, I'm going to remember him, I'm going to get him back, I'm going to...
Yeah, but really...
hang on to all the anger.
You should get over it.
Yeah, how fast can you let it go? And then what you say is, what's good about the situation? The Anthony Robbins type thing?
Yep.
Right, he taught me a lot. When I went to Anthony Robbins, and he said, what's good about this? And he said, nothing! And he said, what's good about it? Nothing! And he said, no, what could be good about it? Well, I've learned not to trust people as much as I used to, or I've learned how to be a bit more selective who I pick as friends.
Yep.
Okay, what else is good? Oh yeah, well, he could have taken me for a lot more. It could have been a lot worse. So all of a sudden you start looking at the positive side of things. So that's why it's good to forget.
So look at glass half full, not half empty.
Always. And look at the benefits that you've gained from that fall. I fell over, I hurt my knee. I don't want to do that again. Next time I'm going to watch where I'm walking.
Well, you can't become successful without making mistakes.
You make
the
mistakes.
more mistakes you make, the more successful you become.
But people think you can throw away $100,000 and say, "Oh yeah, it was a mistake. You know, I made a big mistake."
Yeah.
Oh, what you got to do is you got to make little mistakes and learn from them, or learn from others.
That's right.
Pick up information from you.
Exactly.
I come to you to learn from you, so that I don't make that same silly mistake.
Exactly.
I can avoid making a mistake if I listen to what you did and I live your experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Exactly.
You tell me what you've experienced, and I think, okay, that's a good point. I've got to learn that. I make sure I don't do that.
Yeah, so going back to Patch Adams, he did this in hospitals, didn't he?
Yes, what he did was, he was always a bit eccentric and, you know, whatever. He was more, I don't know if you, gifted in lots of ways, right? He was an older man when he decided to go into hospital to become a doctor, or into studying, right? He had done lots and lots of other things before he became a doctor. So he was an adult before he became a doctor. Where most kids go straight from university and all this stuff. So he had a fair bit of life experience.
Which makes a difference.
The one thing that I learned the most from him was he interviews people all the time about lots of things and about everything. I want to know you. I want to know everything about you, he says. I want to know what's in your head, what's in your heart, what's in your chest, what's in your foot, what's in your knee, and all the rest of it, and what goes into your body, so that I can tell you how to look after it. So he's very good that way. You know, he's very good that way.
Is there any evidence of how that worked, the laughter therapy in hospitals and things like that?
Oh yes, definitely. They've got lots of research now.
Did you hear about the guy who had cancer and he ended up going home? Putting videos on. Who was that?
That was, hang on, I was just about to mention him and his mate. I had to take a drink. Yes, what he did was, he had a muscular dystrophy type of thing where his muscles were fraying away, and they had no idea what it was. So what he did was, he's written a book that's called The Anatomy of an Illness, right? And it's a very big, thick book, and doctors refer to it all the time. What he did was, he was in the hospital and he was paying like $200 a day to have his surgery and all this, medication and everything else. So he said, bugger this, I'm going to go to the hotel next door. And in the hotel next door, it was like less than $100 for a private room. So he got a private room in the hospital, next to the hospital, in a hotel, and stayed in there. And a few of his friends were from Hollywood and that. So he said, look, give me some videos or some films. So he set up a film projector in his room, and he used to watch Laurel and Hardy, Albert Costello, all those comedy movies and all that stuff. And he found he was feeling really good, because every time you laugh, he studied that serotonin, the dopamine, and endorphins would mix, rush through with the adrenaline rush, take it all the way through his body. So he was laughing and he felt better.
Because that would stop pain as well.
That would stop the pain, because it goes through, it numbs and dulls all the pain. What he did one day, now you may have heard this as a joke, but this is where it originated from. One day the nurse came in and gave him a thing and said, doctor wants a specimen from you, and here's your breakfast. And on the breakfast tray there was a apple juice. So he got the apple juice, put it into the specimen thing, right, and put it there on the side, and he drank the rest of it and had his breakfast. The nurse comes in and says, oh, that's a bit cloudy. He says, really, let me have a look. Oh yeah, he said, I'll purify it for you. And he drank it. And, you know, back in the 50s.
How funny.
Yeah, back in the 50s, nurses were everywhere and matrons were everywhere. And this nurse started screaming, what are you doing? What are you doing? All of a sudden, nurses from all over the hospital, from all over the wards, came rushing in. And he started laughing. He was laughing his head off. And the other guys were laughing and everything else. Anyway, what happened was, it went through wildfire right through the hospital. But a little while later, he used to get taken out of bed every morning, taken downstairs to the basement where was a pristine, clean place. And the only place they had was in the basement. And he'd be laid on a table, which is like a metal table. And he'd lay on there, and they put his injection in his back to help him feel better for the rest of the day. Anyway, he was laughing so much, and he was laughing and carrying on, and everybody carried on. And when the two guys came to pick him up, he just put his hand on their shoulder, stepped off the bed, and they started walking down the corridor. Halfway down the steps, the guy says, what are you doing? What's happening? What's happening? He said, why? He said, we're supposed to be carrying him.
Wow, you're kidding. That is hilarious.
Honest, he was laughing all the way down to the bottom. Wow. And he got himself up on the table and he sat down and he was laughing his head off. When the doctor came in, he said, I heard about you. What have you been up to? You know, and then he told him that the doctor started laughing.
Yep.
But then he put this all together. He thought, I was laughing so much that what happened was, I don't know. And the doctor said, well, what happened? How come you could walk all the way down the stairs? And they started analysing what happened. So he said, okay, well, this happened, that happened, that happened, then this happened, that happened, that happened. And as they were analysing it backwards and forwards, the only thing that could have happened was the adrenaline, serotonin, dopamine had rushed together all the way through his body, made him get up and not feeling back pain and not feeling all that. So he said, wow. Mm-hmm. And that's how they started doing these studies. So he had spent another 10 years or more researching, studying all those anatomies of an illness, and he wrote a big, thick book about it.
Is there any history of laughter therapy in the past?
Yes.
I'm curious about that. Any ancient civilizations or anything like that? Or?
Laughter therapy, as far as like the there are things way back in the Chinese history where the armies and that used to laugh and they used to sing and dance, right? So laughter, singing and dancing always went well together.
Because I've heard singing and dancing is like to laughter, like smiling, like running is to walking.
Yeah, and you know the, I mean, I know they've coined it like the last laughing assassin. Right, the laughing assassin.
No, I haven't heard that. No.
Oh, you know, the smiling assassin.
The smiling assassin,
yeah. The smiling assassin, that sort of thing. I mean, there's some history to that way back where people used to get into a trance, right? And by laughing and dancing and you know, chanting. And the Indians, the American Indians, you know, with the drums and the Africans with their drums and other tribes with their drums, these people would sing and dance all night. And then the warriors would go to war the next morning.
Right, wow. Right. I think they'd be hungover or tired.
No. What you don't understand is the ones that were singing and dancing weren't warriors.
Oh, right.
They were the musicians. They were the dancers.
So the warriors were just...
They were the dancers.
Yep.
But the warriors would be sleeping. But because of their energy, right, vibrates through. And, you know, you walk into this room and you go, wow, this is a neat little studio, you know? Or you walk into a room anywhere and you go, oh God, what happened in here?
Yeah, so you can feel the vibe.
You feel the vibe. Yep. Or you walk in a room when there's two good friends, or a girl and a boy especially, and if there's some love connection between them, you go... You
can feel that vibe,
You walk in and you think, oh wow, something's going on here. You know what I mean?
So,
and that's energy. That's energy in the room. So laughter and laughter therapy provides that energy.
Yeah, okay, so I'm curious.
Yeah.
And I'm asking a lot of questions.
No, good.
You may not have the answer.
No.
Humans
I'll make it up.
Humans laugh, right?
Yes.
Is there any other species that laugh?
Monkeys do.
And that's
you
because
hear
they're related to it. Yep.
You know,
so, why did we evolve to laugh?
Okay.
I'm curious about that.
I'm not exactly sure why we evolved to laugh, but the laughter has been like clapping, right? Has been a way of just showing appreciation.
Yes.
Seals do it automatically.
Yes.
You know, that's how we taught the seal to do that. But seals...
They clap all the time.
They clap all the time. They clap their flippers.
Especially when they see a good performance.
Yeah, but they clap one flipper all the time.
Yep.
They slap the water.
Yep.
You know, and
because I've read a little bit about laughter.
Yeah.
And apparently laughter, and this is interesting because you know a lot of times comedy is actually a sharp angle or something you don't expect.
Yes. A twist.
And also, but sometimes there's a lot of tension.
Yes.
Laughter can release the tension.
The only thing I've ever known to help stress and stress management, and I used to do stress management consulting, right? Yep. And I changed that to laughter therapy, right? So instead of managing people's stress, I want to do one or two things. I want to recognise what it is, and I want to alleviate it, right? And reduce it totally. So in other words, I don't want to manage your stress. I want to teach you how to reduce it. Right? Not how to just manage it. Because it's not about holding a whole lot of things like this and juggling it all. Right? Because what happened was somebody wrote a book on stress management, and then a student of a professor was the next professor. He wrote a book, turned the book around this way, and instead of stress management or managing stress, he put stress management. So it just changed the words around, but the contents was the same.
Yep.
And then another student of the professor wrote a book, and it says, one is stress management, managing stress, and handling stress. I don't want to handle stress, I want to get rid of it. And the other student turned the book around. The contents is basically the same, but it's about juggling stress.
Wow.
So there's about 4 or 5 books, one after another came out from different, or the same professor who taught that professor, and that professor. So it's the same body of knowledge, right? So with this book, it's about how to recognise what's causing you the stress and how to get rid of it altogether. So if I can help you to get rid of your stress, get rid of your anxiety, get rid of your depression, and go down, but not stay down for very long, right? Bounce, be more resilient.
Yep.
And if I can help you to do that, that's what this is all about.
Yep. So in comedy, I'm just thinking back.
Oh, yeah.
You look at Laura and Hardy, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times slapstick comedy usually involves someone getting hurt violently. You know what I mean? Slipping on a banana and getting smacked in the head by a thing.
But unfortunately,
so why do we find that funny? I don't
get it. This is a human nature thing.
Yes, I'm curious
we,
about that.
We tend to like to see a car accident. We like to see these big crashes.
We're very fascinated by things like that.
It's an internal thing that we have as humans, right?
Now, I've noticed
we don't like to see people getting badly hurt. But we like to see them getting blown up and suffering. Like at the moment, unfortunately, and I don't like to promote it, but there's these stupid things on television, the stunts that these idiots are doing.
Jackass.
Don't even mention it.
I won't mention it, sorry. But people laugh at
those stupid things, they do it and they really get hurt.
Why do people... I don't find that funny.
I don't find it funny either.
Why do people find it funny?
Because they're a level of intelligence.
Okay,
I'm sorry, that's what I believe.
So, for example... I just lost that example now.
Oh, that's okay. But people like to see people doing funny things when they get up and then they try and... I saw this guy on the television the other night.
Because even cartoons, you look at cartoons.
Yeah.
You look at Bugs Bunny and all that.
Yeah.
Very violent.
They were.
Hugely. People they get blown up.
But we thought they were violent. But they were violent in a fun way.
Yes, they were.
Unfortunately, these video games today, they lose their arms, they get their heads blown off. Yep. They're a lot more violent and a lot more active. And
I'm fascinated by how comedy and pain and misfortune sort of...
In the video games today, there's no comedy in it.
No.
It's just blown up, kill them and move on, kill that one and move on, blast the crap out of them and move on.
A lot of people say that's sort of a good outlet for people.
Look,
because they've done the studies and they've said it doesn't actually increase violence.
Well, it doesn't increase violence, but it doesn't diminish it either. And what it does, it makes it acceptable. Mm-hmm. That's the problem.
But people know the difference between fantasy and real world.
No, they don't. And the reason I'll be strong on that because, I've got to stand up for something. That's one thing.
Okay.
I honestly believe that people doing these video games, there are so many advantages about it, right? But there's a lot of disadvantages. So what they do, they say, any medication you take and any tablet, I found out quite a lot from doctors. They say about 10% of it only is good for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of side effects.
There's a lot of side effects.
There's always
that 10% is what's going to cure that bit and help you with the next bit. But 90% of it is really not effective. So I'm thinking, what, 10% or 30% or even 70%? Like in any other business, we wouldn't accept that.
No.
We can accept above 80.
Oh, look, in medicine, there's a lot of things we accept that are unfortunately subpar. But
no other business would you get away with it.
Well, look at cancer treatments, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I've read, a lot of cancer treatments are actually worse for you than they're good.
Yeah.
Not all of them. They're all different. But I think that medicine is going to go forward very soon with new technology.
I hope so. But see, what happens is with old age homes, in old age homes and senior citizen places, I've been visiting a lot of those, doing activities with them, right?
Is it hard to make them laugh?
No, it's actually quite easy. After a while, it becomes easier and easier.
Oh, so people become a habit of laughing. It's easier.
I'll give you a good example. I set up laughter clubs in nursing homes, and we went all around Australia setting up homes in nursing homes.
Well done.
And look, I mean, it's just my way of giving back to nature or to life and say thank you, God. Mm-hmm. But what happens is really important. They've got those in some nursing homes. They've got the old-fashioned video games there, right? Even the Wii's and stuff, but the old ones, the really old ones. And what they're doing, they're keeping their mind and body active. And they make them feel good from inside because they win.
Because activity...
Yeah, the activity keeps their brains alive. Their hands, it makes them hand-eye coordination, keeps their hand-eye coordination, and it makes them feel good because they win.
Yeah, physiology is very important.
Yeah, see,
absolutely.
What I started doing, I started telling some of my friends, or some of my clients, and some people who had anxiety and the rest of it, pick the lowest game, because on some games you can set the score that you have. You know, you make it easy game, a more difficult game, or a really difficult game. But you set it down to easy as possible, and you play solitaire, or you play some card game, or you play some little game there, which is really easy to win. And when you're doing that, you get the hand-eye coordination going, you get your adrenaline rushing through your body, and you actually feel good, right? So it makes you feel good.
Yes.
And then you win, and you feel even better.
Yep.
You see, and then you go to sleep. So you sleep while you're feeling really nice.
Yes.
See, because like I said here in the book, some people go to, their nerves are going like this. And it's like that, the old-fashioned TVs, you know, they go psh, test pattern sort of thing, you know. So what happens in your head and your eyes, your whole body, it's like this. So if I can get that to wave like this, then you sleep better. So what we do, we have to do something before we go to sleep. Just before we go to sleep, we have to do something to break the day. Whatever happened before the morning, during the day or the afternoon, or whatever's going to happen tomorrow, we can cut it off, right? So, I mean, some people use prayer, some people use meditation, some people actually do a series of activities, right? And I work with those people to work out what activity they should do. And notice, I don't like to call it exercise. You know, it's not a laughter exercise, but it's an activity. If I said, let's go out and do some exercise, people go, ooh.
But activity sounds
more activity,
fun.
Yeah, it's
much
more fun.
Better, much better.
So you can always look for the fun way of doing things, you know. So people will want to do it. And that's what this is all about.
So how can the people watching this, how can they have more laughter in their life?
Oh, look, the number one question is, what do I have to do to be happier?
Yep.
Ask yourself, what do you have to do to be happier? And
is there something they can do, like wake up in the morning and
there's lots of
do
things,
something like...
Lots of things. Like I said, the number one...
Because I guess you're saying happier,
so
happiness and laughter is slightly different.
No.
It's not the same.
It's similar.
Similar, but not the same, because someone can laugh even when they're upset.
Yeah, but the laughter, if they were upset, on a scale of 1 to 10... You know, I read, and I was talking to some doctors just the other day, like I said, because I actually used to lecture to doctors on bedside manner and all that sort of stuff, you know. But what is really interesting, some people at a stress level, which should be about 4 or 5, walk around at about 7 or 8. So they're only like that far off of blowing their top. Right? And on the way down here today, there was one guy came out of the road on the side of me, right, literally not that far, just enough for me to slow down so that I avoided him, but he went straight across the road in front of this taxi driver, right, who was in front of me, right, and then he started yelling at the taxi driver.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and then he pulled over in front of me, and I was forced to stop.
Road rage is a strange thing, isn't it? People,
and then
once they get behind a car,
he was halfway between my lane and that other lane, and he stopped. And he's sort of sticking his head out the window, really, really yelling and screaming at the guy behind him. But it was his fault. He cut across in front of me, straight across in front of that guy, then pulled back. When he saw him in the mirror, he pulled back. The guy didn't blow his horn. The guy didn't do anything. And I would have gone to court for this chap because this guy just cut out in front of us and then stopped altogether and caused all the traffic behind us to stop. And I tell you what, that guy was so upset.
He needed a bit of laughter.
Whoa, he was like above the 10, you know.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, their doctors were telling me that a lot of the people that they see are already at 8 or 9.
Wow.
On the stress level.
That's pretty full.
At a 10. You know, now you and I mean, I travel probably around, you know, minus. Most days I'm in a minus 0. I'm not. I just let things go straight away.
Yeah,
you know, some people walk around at 1 or 2.
I've got 2 rules. That are really good.
Yeah.
Rule number 1: don't sweat the small stuff.
Yes.
Rule number 2: it's all small.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
yes,
one day we're going to be gone.
That's right.
And this little thing is not going to matter at all.
Unfortunately,
getting upset about something small or irrelevant is just a waste of time.
A reality check is the number one thing.
People don't get that.
Yeah, do a reality check. Have a look around. Oh, you come with me to Annie's Cemetery, and those people there will swap that fast with you.
Of course they would.
Now,
exactly.
Whatever your problem is,
they've got no problems.
Whatever your problem is, do you want to swap with them?
Being alive is
just be happy to be alive.
Is a problem.
Yeah,
that's the fact of
it. The number one thing, like everybody's a little bit different, but there was a movie called City Slicker.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a funny movie.
That's a funny movie.
You should see that. You should see that again and again and again.
Okay.
All the two of them, because I'm saying he says with a voice croaky like mine.
Yeah, he does. Actually,
he says, "Hey, it's the number one thing," and the guy goes, and Billy Christie says, "What?" And Jack Palin, unfortunately, he's passed away now, but he goes to Billy Christie, says, "It's the number one thing," and he says, "Wow." He said, "What's the number one thing?" He said, "I'll tell you later." And he goes off and he says, "You got that number one thing, you've got everything." And he says, "Wow." He says, "Okay." And then somewhere right at the end of the movie, most people missed it.
Yep, I missed it.
Yeah, you know what he said?
What?
It's the number one thing. And they go, "Yeah, well, okay." And people just missed it. It's the number one thing is a different one thing to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Your number one thing is different to mine.
I remember when I said that, yeah.
See, but it's the number one thing.
Yeah.
So let me tell you about the number one thing. Because everyone's got a different number one thing. But the most number one thing to help, that I help really depress people, and I work with a whole lot of different people, be grateful.
Yes.
Just saying, what are you actually grateful for?
You know what? That is brilliant. Because
that is like pulls the pin on all these things just falling down.
Yeah. Christina and I, my wife, we decided about a year and a half ago that we wanted to be grateful, more grateful.
Yep.
And it's hard to sort of get a trigger to remind yourself. So what we do is whenever we have a meal, before we have a meal, we talk about what we're grateful for. Not necessarily the meal, but being grateful. And being grateful is the most wonderful thing in the world.
Yeah.
I cannot believe what a difference it makes, because when you intellectually think being grateful, sure, it's going to make me happy, it actually does. Because if you're alive, you should be grateful, no matter what.
Look,
that's the fact of it.
That's the number one thing. See, but then for somebody else, it's something else. But the number one thing is the number one thing.
Gratefulness is the number one thing. You can't beat that.
Well, if you're grateful, from there, everything else comes better. Like you said, from where you are now, compared to the person in the grave, do you want to shift? Do you want to change?
Yep.
And unfortunately, I work with people also who are in that suicidal
that want to change exactly.
No, they're in watch situations where they could all slip across at any time. There are people who want to kill themselves.
Yes,
and they're living that. And other people are like
that would be a terrible way to be.
Well,
I've never experienced
I've changed
that,
it. I've been lucky enough to help a couple of them, or quite a few of them that I've worked with, and I have in the past.
Because what surprises me is I heard about this girl who wanted to commit suicide, and she went on the railway tracks, and it ran over, and she lost her legs and her arm and everything. Then she survived and didn't want to kill herself. And you're thinking, like, you're in a much worse position, but you don't want to kill yourself because it's a temporary thing.
Well,
people should not do it.
There's a guy from Adelaide here that I've just had interviewed on my radio show, and I met him beforehand, and I brought him on the show, and on my show I talk about laughter and laughter therapy, and my show is called Happy Business. So on the show I talk about happy business, how to have a happy business.
Forget about monkey business. We got happy business.
Happy business.
That's right.
How to have a happy business, how to be happy in business, how to have happy employees, and everything from A to Z that involves that. So some people now, I heard on the news that there's such a high percentage of people go to work in a drug state.
Look, going to work for most people is very tough, and like when I started my business, because I retired at 37, I was fortunate that I retired on property, and then I was out having fun, partying, having a great time, and after a while my life became a little bit meaningless. And that's why I've sort of started now my coaching business.
Good on you.
But my number one goal was to help people have fun, and second was to make money. So I'm very fortunate that I can do that because I've already got money coming in.
Exactly.
But when you focus on having fun and helping people, I don't even work. I don't
it's
work.
not like work.
No.
My hobby was doing magic.
Yes.
Right. I turned a hobby into a profession. Mm-hmm. So I became a professional clown and a professional magician. Over above what I'm doing.
I know someone that's looking for a professional magician.
Good.
Within the year.
Excellent.
Great.
See, I do a lot of professional speaking and training, but on the side of that, I was doing magic and clowning. I did lots and lots of hospitals, lots of children's parties, lots of Make-A-Wish, and I still do lots of Make-A-Wish and lots of other things, and that was my way of giving back to the community, as well as saying, thank you God that I'm allowed to do this and have fun doing it. That for me, I'm thinking, I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. And then when I do my presentations, I don't use videos and overheads. I say, look, let me show you what I mean. So I show them a card trick, or I show them a rope trick, or I'll do some magic trick, which from here, it comes to here, and something over there happens. And they go, how did that happen? Well, that's a sales cycle. You see, you have to find the client, then you have to talk to the client, and then you'll get the sale. Some people think they'll find the client, make the sale. It doesn't work that way. You got to go around the trip. You have to go there to come to here. And you can't do that. So I show them a magic trick, and they go, oh yeah, I see it now. And they remember it. So that's why they call me the man with the magic message. So they can remember what they see. People will remember a lot longer than what they hear.
Totally. Because I remember when I was a teenager, I was piggybacking my friend on my BMX down this really steep hill. And we're going down, and I hit something. We fell off, and both of us went flying off the bike. We slid down the road, scraped ourselves. We're in a lot of pain.
And laughed your heads off.
And then suddenly, my friend started laughing, I started laughing. We're lying in the middle of the road, laughing our asses off. And it really made things better. Tell you what, it didn't hurt at all. It was like until after we stopped laughing. So it's interesting how laughter just kicks in.
Well, the thing is, some people have that nervous laughter.
I had a friend at school that did that, and he used to always talk and laugh because he was a bit shy. And you'll see that people will have a giggle, a little giggle, a nervous giggle, and when they go, and they can't help themselves. For everyone listening, thank you once again. Stay well, and see you next episode.
For awesome info and trending content, go to theuglytruth.log.